Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be breaking down the gameplay of Skeeter. He's one of the best carry players in the world. He plays Troll Warlord this game against OG and absolutely stomps them. He goes 8-1 in this game, and I'd like to talk about his mechanics, how he uses his spells, especially his ultimate, because I've been watching and even coaching a bunch of Troll Warlord, and I've definitely seen that people struggle to play this hero. It really does require a lot of mechanical skill. You know, switching from range to melee is a thing in itself. It has like multiple actives, right? The slow, the mischance, and its ultimate is one of the most wonky spells in all of Dota. It really doesn't make much sense, and that's why we love the hero. And before we get into the video, remember, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you stay to the end of the video, it helps our watch time and helps promote the video. And let's get into it. And I do want to let you guys know that I just made a full-length analysis, draft analysis, and in-game analysis of OG versus Nigma Game 2. On top of that, I made a full draft analysis of that series as well. So there's 2 draft analysis and 1 in-game analysis on the website. Those will never come to YouTube, so if you're looking to get a content that's going to help you get to the next level and understand Dota on a higher level, as well as just have a good time, click the link down below. Honestly, it's really worth it, guys. There's even a refund policy. Like, if you don't like it for whatever reason, it's not expensive. If you don't like it, you can just get a refund. So go try it. I really do think it's a worthwhile investment. It's going to save you a lot of time, and now let's get into the video. Alright, so first things first, I just want to show you this OP trick that you can use in your games. It's pretty dumb. I don't know why it works. It definitely shouldn't work, but it does work. So you can see here that this is 38 seconds before the game even starts. He gets a brief vision of Saksa, and Saksa has boots and some wards, right? And what you'll notice is he's going to click on Saksa. Saksa is going to run out into here. Through the vision, he's going to sort of track Saksa's movement, right? He's paying attention, thinking of how far he can go. Watching the wards, sees him switch to Observer and Sentry. By the way, this is the perspective of the troll, not the Lina, right? This is the troll. He sees the Lina because of how this works, swap to the Obs, and then put down the Obs. Yeah, once again, I don't know why that's in the game. I definitely don't think it should be in the game, but it is in the game. And so you can abuse it, and it allows the Treant to scout out the early Obs and, yeah, get the D ward. The next thing I do want to say is that I'm a huge fan of this lane. I think Tundra's really got the right idea here. Troll Warlord with Treant's pretty nuts. Treant's biggest problem is he gets kited. The hero naturally has a low movement speed. You can see Treant walks around. Well, he has a windlace, and he's currently in the trees, which gives him movement speed as well, 15%, which is a lot. But once he leaves this, you know, the trees, he's not fast. He's not 345. He loses an insane amount. I think he drops to 305 with windlace. And you can imagine as a one-armor hero against a hero like Lina that chops down your trees and pumps out damage, you die pretty easily. And so Troll kind of helps deal with that. Troll mans up really well, which Treant, I know it sounds weird, but Treant against good players sort of doesn't man up well in a 2v1, right? Treant is a hero that prefers 1v1s, but Troll basically makes it 1v1s with the mischance. So the first thing I want to go over is items. The second thing I want to go over is his awareness of his position 5, but let's quickly go into items. Just in case you guys haven't been like following the meta, this really seems to be the current trend, and I do think it's like generally the best item build right now. It's not that Wraithband is completely out of the question, but Wraithband, it's definitely fallen off as an item. It gives you some armor, some attack speed, and some agi, right? But a lot of the time, you kind of just want to go towards your treads as soon as possible. And to explain why this is important and really strong is treads. Obviously, they give you boots, right? Boots is nice, having, you know, the movement speed. But the biggest part is 10 selected attribute. It's 10, right? So you get 10 agi. That's also 10 attack speed and an armor, right? And you can kind of picture why, like, that's just better than Wraithband. It gives you practically the same armor as Wraithband, if not like the same. It gives you much more attack speed, 5 times the built-in attack speed, and more agi. And yes, of course, it's more gold. But you're going to buy boots anyway at some point. So you're kind of just pushing towards this more of like a 5, 6, 7 minute timing rather than like a 4 or 5 minute timing. And then Wand kind of covers your 5 minute timing and you're just playing more of a sustained game. The lane has been dragged and manipulated all over the place. So this build, you know, it just tends to work in this current meta a lot better. And yeah, the second thing here is I cannot stress how good this is and like how most players cannot do this, but you should try in your games if you want to get kills. So what he does well is he doesn't really overreact to Saksa, and he doesn't make his kill attempts obvious. So you can see here he gets gone on. Okay, pops his E, pops the mischance before getting gone on. And then you can see what good players do is their eyes, they don't just focus on themselves. They kind of like think about their options when they get gone on. So he's like, okay, don't want to go on Wraith King, this guy's too tanky, I can go on the Lina, right? I can shift over and hit the Lina if needed. And so that's exactly what they're going to look to do here, right? They commit all of their stuns, literally every single stun. Fata gets the wrap, and Skitter, with no hesitation, shifts over, pops the slow immediately, right? And they get the kill. Super nice swapping, by the way. This is also nuts. You know, the fact that he's able to swap in between melee and range form, because melee, it gives you armor, right? And most importantly, it gives you movement speed, right? And so when you're chasing people down, in between auto attacks, like when the auto attack's on cooldown, you actually want to swap back to melee so that you can close the gap a little bit faster. You know, it's 15 movement speed. Think about how important 15 movement speed buffs are, right? I stress that all the time in my patch videos, so you can imagine it's really good to do this as well. But yeah, the main thing I love is he's just always watching his 5. I will say that Fata is doing such a great job of wrapping between and behind his opponents at the right time, but at the same time, in your pubs, like, I'll just watch, and I was even coaching some carry players recently, and they just struggle to watch their 5. Like, their 5 will go behind the enemy offlaner, and they seemingly won't react or have even seen them, right? So you have to be able to shift your awareness off of last hits and denies occasionally, and onto your support and say, hey, are they going behind them? Are they looking to make a play? And so on. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is an incredible 30 to 40 sequence from Skeeter that if you can replicate even aspects of it, you're going to do much better. So right now, what do we see? Right, look at the map, because if you're not looking at the map, you're going to struggle to be a good Dota player. We see a Monkey King Elder Titan top, a Wraith King mid, and a Lina bottom. This means that they should obviously go for the Lina kill, right? So good decision right there. Okay, that's great. Pops his slow. You might be asking, like, why ulti here? Well, the ulti gives you 25% movement speed. And so if you have to chase someone down and you know it's a free kill, like, it's not like close, you're not going to get ganked and you're not going to get a return killed, then you should pop it, right? You should pop it. Get that 25% movement speed and close the gap. However, this is usually a bad idea, so just keep that in mind. You can see swapping between range form in between, going back to melee afterwards, getting all of that bonus movement speed, right? 25% of the extra from the melee form as well. And yeah, he's able to secure the kill, so that's great. Now. He has no ultimate. He's playing Troll Warlord, not a disengage spell, right? Doesn't have a good disengage spell. Should he hit this tower? Well, the answer is yes, because he just killed the Lina. He knows that the enemy team was top, and therefore the answer is yes, right? He knows the enemy team is top, right? Typically, if you don't have your disengage spell, or your man fight spell, you might not make a play like this, but he knows what has happened. He actually remembers what happened 30 seconds ago and bases his decision on that. Now, he forces the Monkey King bottom, and what should he do next? Doesn't really want to lane against Monkey King. It's not a horrible matchup, it's okay, but to be fair, this is Seb's Monkey King, and he has an Orb of Corrosion, he has a wand, Phase Boots, Hood. It's a build designed to basically dominate the lanes. He's bought items to just put pressure on the map, and so Skitter understands this. He understands this, and he's getting to his Battle Fury. Really crazy good timing here, right? Sick timing. But he's going to TP mid. This is what I love. Forces rotations, right? Forces Seb to TP to avoid them from losing the bottom tower just to a troll solo. And now, look what happens. Look at this Wraith King. Wraith King's bottom. Wraith King wants to farm this area, but Monkey King's bottom. And so they're kind of stuck in the same part of the map, and the carry player did that. And I'm not saying as a carry player you have to create, like, infinite space, but what was the alternative, right? The alternative was him getting a free full HP tower, and Troll Warlord is definitely a hero that hits towers. So not every carry hero is going to do this. If you're playing Slark, I don't really recommend hitting towers. The large majority of the time, typically you should just take an extra neutral camp or cut the wave. Maybe you can hit the tower if there's like a cart wave coming in. You guys get the point, right? His Troll wants to do that. Troll in general wants to do that. You can even see all the way through mid, hits Ancients, gets his Battle Fury off to the top wave. Once again, sees the enemy team bottom. So because he sees the bottom, he's going to continue to shove in top. Sees Monkey King and Elder Titan. Doesn't see the Tiny Nalina, so he's going to hesitate to hit the top wave immediately. And yeah, now his game is very, very simple. He's going to look to cut through the triangle and basically avoid the enemy team as he gets gone on and exploded here. Okay. Don't worry, guys. You won't get ganked at your tier 2 14 minutes into the game 99% of the time in your pubs. But especially when there's a tier 1 alive. It just doesn't really happen. But nonetheless, let's skip on ahead. Next up, I'd like to talk about the spatial awareness of Skeeter and why it's so impressive in this top fight. So at this point, he's actually rushed to BKB. Can you believe it, guys? Can you believe it? A carry player purchasing a black king bar? Now, usually I do recommend to you guys, if you play Troll, I recommend typically you go Yasha before the BKB, only because the games tend to be slower paced. What I mean by that is like there's a lot more space on the map, and so you can be a lot more greedy. But clearly this game, he sees an opportunity, especially with the Sages, to take some really strong fights, hit this really crazy timing, and that's what BKB is. It takes advantage of your strong timings. So typically you buy it around whenever you think your team is, I'm not going to say the strongest, but it is at least strong to put map pressure, right? Because that's what BKB does. It's really good at putting map pressure, especially for Troll. Troll's ulti without BKB is pretty freaking bad. It's pretty useless. It really is, against anyone, any decent or competent amount of players. So you can see in this fight here, let's see what they do. He walks in, throws axes, trying to poke out the Wraith King ulti, sees it go down. Now, he knows Wraith King's items because he's checked them. It's just Radiance, right? So he knows, especially against this team comp, there's nothing, well, you would think nothing that can stop a BKB Troll ulti. Unfortunately, the enemy team, OG, has Thompson on it, which means that he will be smart enough to toss away Madara, because Madara 100% would have died otherwise. But you can see, it's a good decision, right? The guys suck out of position. It's a good target. It's a carry. It wouldn't force Skeeter to go out of position. It's a really nice kill. Once again, as I said, super good play by Thompson to get the disengage. But let's see what they do next. Kites out. Okay, pretty standard. You could imagine, but no BKB, no ulti. The worst thing you could do is get your team stuck under a tier 2 tower, because then your team is done for. There's nothing they can do to help you. They don't want to overextend. They're going to get glyphed on. It's really easy for OG to position, and so on. So Skeeter has to kite out here, and that's what he does. Good silence by the puck onto the back line. His Aegis gets taken down. Now, what does he have to do? His team is going in, but that doesn't mean he can go in. And so you'll see immediately pops the mischance to try to get away from Seb and books it. He's out of there. Gonna continue to get chased, right? Onto the strength treads. One popped, gets glimmered, gets armored. Really nice plays by Tundra to try to kite out. And that's exactly what they do. They kite out, they kite out, they kite out. And yeah, you know what happens when you kite out? The enemy team groups up. You don't believe me? OG grouped up. If you think your pubs don't group up when you kite out, they do. They do. Anytime a fight goes into a congested area like this sort of hill, they'll group. And you know what happens when they group against team fight? You get 3-man black hold and you die. By the way, really nice turn from Skeeter there. I love the fact that he didn't just completely ran away. And that's just like another thing about being like a top tier player or just getting better at the game. You have to be able to think about your teammates, and especially look at these like these cooldowns right up here. It's something actually, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's even something I've been working on for the longest time. I would just like click on everyone to check if they have ultis. Just look at these green things. It's actually incredibly useful. And like, if you don't do it, I can't stress how good it actually is. And honestly, at this point in the game, the rest of Troll Warlord, I'm not going to say it's simple. It's definitely not simple, but teamfight execution is actually not as hard as you might think. Of course, there's ins and outs, and there's things you got to watch out for. If they have grip, you can't just BKB ulti. If they have Dream Coil, you can't necessarily BKB ulti. If they have Cold Embrace, and so on. This game, they really, like, but this is a big deal, right? This is a big tip, guys, something to think about. You have to look at the enemy team and say, okay, what do they have to counter my spells? And what does that mean for my ultimate? And so let's say they have a Wyvern, right? How should you approach the fight? Let's say he runs in here and he runs at this Lina, okay? Runs at Lina and they have a Wyvern. What should he do? Not much. Maybe he could pop his BKB to secure the kill, but he should 100% not ulti, right? You would not want ulti because you're going to burn the entire duration hitting a slab of ice. And so he ends up getting stomped. No need to panic BKB. The enemy team, their burst damage, yeah, it is tiny, right? There's definitely the tiny there, but it's not too great. There is also the ET, but the splitter's not coming out, so there's no burst there. So he definitely doesn't have the panic BKB. No need there. Seb TP's in, right? Already knows that the Malefice is coming, so once again, does not have the panic BKB until the stun wears out. Does not want to get Boundless Striked. Incredibly well. I mean, this is some like, this is some Super Saiyan stuff. My man perfectly times it. Does not panic at all. That's always a sign of a top tier player. Gets hit by the splitter and then eventually pops his BKB. I think he maybe could have popped it right away. Don't think it would have made too much of a difference, but yeah, typically you just pop BKB. Second after, you pop your ultimate. Yeah, you kind of just go to town, and that's what Troll does. You gotta buy this item though. Please don't skip the item. Please. I beg of you. Don't skip it. After that, you go back for your Sanjin Yasha. You can go Sanjin Yasha beforehand, but they really they just can't have a bunch of nukes. The enemy team, literally every single hero just destroys him if he doesn't have BKB. I mean, he'll just get chain stunned to death. And now that his BKB is back up, he's purchased his Basher. Definitely a very wise decision. Basher is particularly good if they don't have a good way to cancel your ulti, because then your ulti BKB combo basically guarantees a kill. The only thing he has to not do this game now is ulti a Monkey King who has this ring up. Even then, that's not even fully true. He could probably kill him through it. But really the main problem he could do, main mistake he could make is ulting a Reincarnation Wraith King, but that's obviously not the case here. This fight is completely over. I mean, there's nothing OG can do. This Wraith King is completely useless as he gets kited out previous to his BKB coming up. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of this game. OG just feels completely useless. There's way too much teamfight on the side of Tundra, and that's another thing to discuss. I also love his build even more, because if you look at his team, yes, they do have a Timber to frontline. That's fair. But having another hero to go in and do some real damage, some damage that's actually going to threaten heroes like the Monkey King and Lina, at least be able to potentially kill them right away, you know, the Troll does that. And so as long as he goes in first, or at least second, with the Sanjin Yasha, with the BKB, with the HP from the Basher, there's no way you're not going to get at least a decent Black Hole, a decent Overgrowth, and a decent Coil Off. And yeah, when you have teamfight, make sure you tank up, make sure you go in, do not skip your BKB, and you are going to have a great game. But if you guys learned a lot about map awareness, decision making, and so on, if you did, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post here every single day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.